Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. It's Friday afternoon. It's very hot and muggy here. That's why I'm dressed very casual because it's just too hot to get fancy. Um, Before we jump right into the scheduled topics, I feel there's a spirit that's telling me I have to share a vision. I have a vision of a young girl in a very faded jean kind of romper dress, and she's walking through a wheat field. And I thought it was a nice vision at first, and then she made me notice that there's no heads on the wheat. They're all cut down. So, and then she's showing me like vegetables with crosses through them, X'd out. Like I was just drawing when I was talking to Heidi, I have a pumpkin and stuff. And I think when what I feel it relates to the food shortage. I don't think there's going to be a food shortage per se. I think there's going to be limited supply. And I think it's going to be priced so high that some of us just can't afford it. So I just wanted to kind of suggest to people to, when they go shopping, pick up a couple extra cans of food, um, kind of figure out what you might need for 6 months. Um, and then let me show you what I do. It's gonna be easier than explained. So we're gonna go, if I make you dizzy, I'm sorry, we're gonna go for a little field trip. Let's see if I can do this. I forgot how to turn my phone around. Oh, there it is. This is my house. This is my pantry shelf. You can see there's soup and stuff, and it looks kind of messy because I've been reorganizing it and taking inventory. And I have another one. Sorry if I made you dizzy because I spun so fast. I have another one over here. There's my pasta and stuff. Now we're going to take a little walk into the kitchen. I'm going to show you my. I'm very KISS. Like, keep it simple, stupid. This is my little system. This is for non-food items. If I take a battery out of storage or take a battery out of the pantry or toothpaste out of the pantry, I write it on here so I can replace it. And this is if I take food out, I write it on here, and this becomes my grocery list for the next time I go grocery shopping. And actually, I'm finding I grocery shop less. So, it'll trip over. Let me try and get back to where I was. I hope that was understandable. I keep it very simple. My hand's in the way, I'm sorry. I keep it very simple. I figured out what my family eats. I figured out what I would need to make their meals for the next 6 months. I put that on my shelves. Like I said, it's a little messy right now because I'm kind of reorganizing, going through everything. I didn't really buy much. Like, one of the things we do eat a lot of is rice. So I did buy a 25-pound bag of rice, and that's in the closet we have my kitchen big pantry closet, which isn't really that big. Heidi can tell you. She's been here. It's through the bathroom. I know that sounds weird. That's just where it is in this apartment. I live in an apartment, and I wanted you to understand that, yes, I know it's hard to prepare in an apartment, but there's places you can do. You can get the roll under the sofa baskets, which I don't use, but you can do them under the bed. You can do there's ways. Where there's a will, there's a way. And I just want people, I'm not trying to scare anybody or anything. I don't think there's going to be no food. I just think that some of the food might be so high priced. Like, one of the things I've noticed is bread and eggs. So someone told me about freezing eggs. You just buy the silicone cupcake liners. You put them in your cupcake tin. You crack your eggs into them. You put them in the freezer for 24 hours. You take them out and you put them in a Ziploc bag. And you put them, and I put up a dozen eggs. We're not big egg eaters, but I thought, birthdays, cake. And the other thing I did was I went to different websites and I got a very simple bread recipe to make my own bread. And there's two great ones. There's Mary's Nest. She has a very easy step-by-step. I mean, it's so simple that even I can follow it. Bread recipe. And then there's another one called Jenny Can Cook. And she's actually a soap opera star that got into cooking now. And her recipe for wheat bread is, the only complaint I got from my family was it tastes different. It doesn't taste as fake. So I think that's a good thing. But now back to the topic. Let me hook you back up. Hook you back up to my little holder, my little cell phone holder. Give me a minute. Give me a second. I'm sorry if I'm making you dizzy. Okay, there we go. So now back onto the regular topic. And if you have any questions about this or you have any doubts about my visions, I'm just sharing it to be on the safe side. what we're going to talk about today is kind of the dark arts. And one of the things I'm going to bring to the table is saging. A lot of people just automatically, they hear a bump in the night and they automatically want to sage. They automatically think it's evil or it's bad. And that's not the case. Lots of times when I do a house cleansing, or Heidi and I go to do a house cleansing, lots of times it's not bad. Lots of times it's just someone that wants to get your attention and you're not picking up, and they get frustrated because communication on the other side is much different than it is here. Not like you just pick up our cell phone and make a phone call. It doesn't work that way. You got to watch for signs and stuff. Heidi and I, we've done a couple. There have been a couple that have been scary that Heidi's very good at removing them and putting them where they need to go. She handles them. My job is the easy part. I just go in and identify them, and then Heidi has to go in and pack them up and move them out. There was one, the kid was really scared because things went flying in his room and stuff, and it was just because he was renting out the space that had belonged to someone that had passed. And when he finally realized that he had passed and showed up in the space, all his stuff was gone. He was just angry. And we gave him something to do, to talk to the thing and how to communicate. And, it was like light a candle. When the candle flickers a certain way, he's there. And after he did what we told him to do, everything kind of went back to normal. But as far as the saging goes, be very careful with saging, because saging can also frustrate ghosts or can up their antics. Like sometimes it can really anger them because they're someone that trying to get in contact with you, and you're trying to get rid of them. You're basically throwing them out of your home. And now, also think of this: if there's something good there and something not so good, you have to know how to pick and choose which ones you want to stay. Because sometimes, we have a situation right now, and Heidi's trying to locate the person. The spirit that was in the house was actually a good spirit, and someone made a mistake, and now this guy he doesn't feel this person around him anymore, and the spirit is telling me he can't make contact anymore. So yes, Heidi and I do use a sage spray when we're doing our readings, but we're very careful. I don't recommend going in and doing the sage and the abalone shell and stuff unless I've been in the space and I feel it. And believe me, there are some spaces I've walked out of and said, I don't know. Heidi and I have done research and techniques, and we know how to do it. So I'm just asking. I know a lot of people are scared right now that they're dabbling their stuff. And please just be careful with what you do. You don't know what you're invoking, or you don't know what you're opening up. And sometimes just saging is not the answer. Sometimes it can just anger them more. And if it's a mischievous or a bad spirit and you sage them, it's going to go over the top. Believe me. Heidi and I have been in that situation. We know. So right now, I'm going to hand you over to Heidi, and she's going to talk to you a little bit more about the dark arts and stuff and what to be careful of. Heidi, are you ready?
I am totally ready. And hold on just for a few seconds, because I just want to let people know that we do sage, but most of the time it's saging for ourselves. We come with an infused crystal smudge spray with the sage in it. And I like the cinnamon. I also like the lemon, but I feel what we're talking about is going to be a little bit heavier. So I'm just going to add a little bit more protection on to me than I've done before. And I just spray just around so that my energy is protected. I do have a lot of my own crystals that I brought in front of me, because the subject that I'm going to talk about, and that Jane and I has mentioned, it's not that it's heavy, but it does have a lot of power in its own if you let it. And this is one of the reasons why the dark arts, the dark occult, black magic, black mass, these are all things that people use when they want to they want to divine the devil. They want to have instant gratification with the wish that they want. And this is not what you want in your life, because
Can I?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
Can I add something real quick?
Oh yeah.
And I want to ask you a question. Is it true that when you do the dark arts and when you do magic and you want something, like you want someone else's riches or something else is got to go in the place of that, and sometimes it's not always a good thing.
Correct. And that's one of the fallbacks of when you are doing any kind of magic, even whether it's dark or good. you have to realize that something is going to be replaced with what you want. So if you completely insist on doing harm to yourself, doing harm to someone else because you feel that they are a lot more luckier than you are, and you have no idea where your bad luck is coming from, a lot of the times you just need to step back and find out what's going on in your life. The one thing that you shouldn't do is change it with black arts, the black magic, because karma can really hit you in the butt when you least expect it. And this is when you're doing your black arts. This is when you're saying, hey, I want $1 million. I don't care how I get it, but I've brought my crystals. I've brought, the blood ritual. I've sacrificed something. This is how I'm going to do it. This is how the black arts really start. You're basically, doing rituals in a negative energy manner, because it's all about you. It's nothing about anything else. There's no good coming from this except for what you want for yourself. So people don't realize that what they want is going to be sacrificed to somebody else out there. So what are you asking for? And how are you asking? And I'm not condoning the black arts or doing it, but if you're going to do it, people, do it right. When the person who took out the spirits from their client's house and they didn't let the good spirits in, she didn't know any better. She thought she was helping them. The flip side of that is the brother couldn't come back into the house. The spirit brother couldn't come back into the house to talk to his own family. So that's the bad side. So we need to find the brother so it can be the brother who's living, by the way, I'm sorry, so that he would be able to tell his employer or employee, we need to reverse that spell. So we need to find a way to reverse that spell so that the good spirit can come in. When you're doing the black arts, you're saying, I want $1 million. I don't care how it happens. I've got all my tools. My intention is there because you're passionate about it. You want it. That's all energy needs. That's all the spirit energy, the negative needs. Same thing with the good. But if you want something so bad and you
I need to interrupt again.
Okay. Yeah, what's happening?
I know you can't hear it, and I don't know if other people can pick up on it, but I hear someone talking. This happens to Heidi a lot. Spirits will talk through the phone. There is it's not at your home, Heidi, not with you, but there is a maleficent energy that doesn't want this information out there.
Okay.
And you go black, and then very earlier I saw a black shadow going by. You're fine and you're safe, but I just wanted to explain to people that's what that is. But you keep seeing this black thing float by Heidi, this big cloud blocks Heidi out. That's how spirits can work. Spirits sometimes don't like us to give out information to say, hey, we know how to keep you from this. Heidi is very good at this.
And Jane's not fibbing. Every time Jane and I have a conversation, if somebody doesn't want us to continue it, they mess with our phones where we can't even hear. And that's why we get to have a lot of texting and go back and forth, because they really can't control that. But just like now, if I'm trying to get a point across, they are going to interrupt and they're going to try. I've got my crystals, my energy. It's not happening. But the dark arts is something that's deeper. The dark arts has to deal with sacrifice. The dark arts has to deal with selfishness and I don't care. It's going to make what it is people that don't have a lot of confidence in themselves trying to get something that they want badly enough and they're not willing to work for it. They don't care who it hurts. But sometimes something is going to be happening to them or to someone that they do care about. And it eventually affects the negative way. So the reverse happens. You might get that $1 million and you might be excited. But what happened in order for you to get that? And that's where the karma comes in. What kind of damage did you cause that is virtually irreversible, that gave you your millions or gave you your pleasure, but you've now created havoc for somebody else? And that's very difficult to undo, if at all. And you almost have to wait it out until it can just go away on its own. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it needs a lot of help. In the case...
There it goes again. There it goes again. Someone was saying, oh yeah, and I don't know if anyone heard earlier, there was a growl.
Okay.
And Heidi and I are in no danger. Heidi knows how to handle this. It's just something from the ether. It's nothing actually with Heidi and I can sense that. And we are not knocking witchcraft or Wiccan or spellcasting at all. I mean, Heidi's very good at that. You know, we do use it to move things along sometimes. Heidi knows how to do it. She's very precise and very careful what she does. So we support the Wiccan. We just need people to be careful when they step over the edge and go the wrong direction.
Right. And this might, and what I'm basically talking is someone that's not even Wiccan or witch or wizard, but someone who actually really wants to pull up the dark arts for bad intentions. Good for them. Doesn't matter what happens in the world as long as I get what I want. But you have to realize when you get something, there is a price. And whether you're aware of the price quickly enough or sooner in the game or later in the game, it is going to happen because karma just really doesn't care who it hurts. So you also have to be aware of that. And when I say do it right, I mean do it right. So if you really say, hey, I'd like $1 million. I need $1 million. Okay. Instead of saying to the energy out there, I need $1 million, I don't care how it's happening, it's like, why don't you say something to the effect of, I need a sign. This is a proper way to say it. I would like a sign to help me get $1 million. What do I need to do? Can you guide me? Is there information? It's not just saying, and now if you really want to be bad at it, or a bad person getting $1 million is like, hey, I want to get $1 million, but I don't want to work that hard at it. It's not any better than saying, I don't care how I get it, but it lessens a horrible effect on somebody else being without realizing that they are being part of your wish. So
Right?
you might be able to lessen it, but you can't. Karma's there. It's going to hurt you. It hurts somebody else. So if you decide that you want to do black magic and you want to bring in the devil and the blue ship, you've got to be really, really realistic of the fact that it's going to affect you. They're going to take their price out on you. I could give you an example. Don't want to because I really, there's enough books out there and there's enough imagination with people out there of people opening portals in their homes, doing the reverse pentacle on the floor and doing demon magic. You don't do it right, it wreaks more havoc. It wreaks more havoc. But honestly, if you want to keep a little bit more contained, then just have the havoc just happen on you or the people that are there with you. You could open up a new Pandora's box that you really don't want to. The good.
Can I ask another question?
Sure.
And I don't want people to think I'm ignorant about this. I'm very confident in my abilities. What Heidi does, it blows my mind. Isn't even if your verbal intentions are one thing and then you have negative intentions in your mind, that can also affect it. I mean, if you're saying the right positive words, but you're thinking, I really want so and so to have a horrific accent and stuff, but you're saying, oh, I want them to have, you have to all be in sync,
Right.
don't you? Am I not correct?
You are, absolutely. You can't hide anything from the ether. You can't hide. If you want something from God, if you want something from the devil, if you want something, however you call the devil, Beelzebub, whatever, how you call him up.
Don't call him. How's that?
You don't call him. That's great. That's even better. Make your life easy. Don't do any of this. Try to find a way to make your life work for you versus against you, because it will work against you even if you get your heart's desire. It's still going to work against you because something is going to, because that spirit eventually is going to come for payment. It might be your soul later on. Just to put it out there. Even if you have the bad intentions in your head, but you're saying the nice things out of your mouth, the way that you say something is really, they'll hear it in how you say it, even in your posture. you could be confident and say, hey, I want $1 million, but I don't want anything bad to happen. Can you tell me that's a face you believe? Instead of saying it's like,
No,
I would like to earn $1 million. I don't want anything bad to happen to anybody, but I'd like to be shown how I can do it.
that's good.
That is an energy that you can believe. And it's out there. The gods and the goddesses, the devil, they know what is in your head. They know what the meaning is. And the tone that you say something is also as important as the intention. So everything has to balance. Everything has to go in order. Some people say that, if you do a tarot reading, if you do palmistry, if you're, even with what Jane does, that's part of the black arts because you are bringing up spirits. You are looking. It's like, no, it's all about the intention of you doing what you do for a living. How Jane does her job, how a tarot reader does theirs, calling up an aura, how they read your aura, of doing any kind of the magic and the palmistry, runes even could be considered bad, but it's only how you use it. Now, Jane and I have been to homes where we have had to find a way to bring a spirit out so that it no longer has any negative effect on a home. It's not one of those things that's an overnight, but it's not something that takes a long time to do. So we really do our research. We find out the history. We find out who was there before, who the owners are now. We just don't go in and say, Jane feels this. No. Jane knows what and who was there. I'm over here like writing notes down, this like that. Every once in a while, we'll videotape it. And we're there to also protect the spirits from negative spirits on them, because spirits themselves can be attacked. So it's also our job as Jane and Heidi, when we go in there, to protect the spirits that do belong there, that aren't bothering the owner, and to possibly move on, if we can, the spirits that don't belong there. And we find a way to move them on and connect with them. Luckily, we have not had too much of a negative feedback with the spirit that we had to but it was very exhausting. So
It is very
does.
exhausting. And I'm gonna talk right now, and Heidi, forgive me. We have run into some what we thought were tough spirits, but once I talked to them multiple times, and Heidi's been with me, and she's done her crystals and stuff. Sometimes you realize that they're just misguided, that they're just angry that they passed too soon. That we had one spirit that was moved from one place to another against his will, and he just wanted to go back to where he was. And Heidi made that happen. Heidi, one of my spirit guides, took him and put him back where he was, and he's resting now peacefully. Sometimes, people, that's another mistake. Someone tried to remove a spirit and they sent it somewhere it didn't belong, and then it became angry. And then we had another spirit that we had another spirit that Heidi had to remove, that was angry because it was taken over by a very not good spirit. It was being made to do things. And once we finally observed this and Heidi detached her from that, she turned into a very sweet, and she basically eventually said to me, I don't want to do the bad deeds anymore. And so we helped her. I mean, I go in and I talk to spirits, and you might think I'm a fruitcake, but I go in and talk to spirits multiple times before we even ask the occupants of the house, this is who we think it is. Do you want it removed? And we do have one woman who said, no, he can stay. Now that I understand what he is and who he is, and he's doing his thing, he was just a past resident that passed away and goes about his day every single day. Repeats his day every single day. And she's just like, he can stay. He's fine. But there's another one she needs to send home. And she's not a bad spirit. She's just overbearing.
She's very determined to stay. And she almost didn't know what was happening with her. And then once it was explained, she's like, okay. And they're people in a spirit form just like we are, and sometimes we just need to have things explained to us. So do they. Some of them are just really stubborn and they're not going because the person who put it there with the bad intention, it's and still puts it with bad intention, it makes the negative energy grow. So sometimes it takes a little bit longer to extract that energy, and sometimes it's just a physical thing because bad energy can get attached to something physical. So when we remove that physical thing, we can take it and honestly, literally bury it, consecrate it, say prayers over it. Then we can go back into the house and do a cleansing from literally top to bottom. And there was a moment that we had to do that in a house that was on the market for 2.5 years. And it was one of those things that just something simple switched in the brain, and we ended up talking with the owner. And Jane figured out what was around the owner and then the house. We don't go into a lot of detail because obviously it is private, but the thing is, once we eliminated the thing in the woman's house, we did a cleansing from top to bottom. You noticed immediately the change in the owner, in the pets, and the atmosphere itself in the house. So much lighter, brighter, happier. Jane actually foresaw the future owners of her home. And then literally 2.5 months, that house was sold to a nice couple. And they're still there today. And very excited when because we do keep in touch with our clients because we like to make sure that everything is okay. Do they need us? Any questions, concerns that they might think is nothing? We like to make sure that everybody's okay. So we like to figure out if there's anything else that we need to do.
We do. We check on when you have a reading with us. We're kind of like a spirit. We attach ourselves to you. We do check on you periodically, make sure you're okay. See if you need anything else. We just don't do a reading and be like, okay, you're done. See ya. No, I'm not that way. I need to know that, especially if something wasn't quite right or there was something you had to do or something. I like to know that you're okay.
Mm-hmm. And with the black arts, everyone, it's like with the good arts. If you're gonna do it correctly. Say the words correctly. The intentions are going to be there. The spirits are going to know whether it's good, bad, or ugly. But you have to be careful when you're dabbling in the dark arts because it's not just you that would be affected. It's other people because of a charm or a wish that you made and you used some really heavy duty kind of black arts material. And I just there's nothing that's so bad out there that a friend can't help you with, a coworker can't help you with, your spiritual advisors, anything out there has, your social media. There's got to be something that would be able you could connect to help you move forward. There's just too much stress and strain in the world where we really need to reach out and help our fellow man and our women and even our fur babies. We need to make sure that ourselves are safe and our people that we love are safe. So if you don't really need to dabble in the dark arts, there's no need to. Don't give it any energy for it to fester in your life. It's the outcome is just going to be a lot worse than the reward that you think you're getting. Jane?
I just want to say, if you want to dabble, if you want an intention, contact someone like Heidi and let them help you or do it for you. She doesn't make any promises, but she will educate you on how to do it right and how not to do it right.
Exactly.
And just be careful. I know times there's stuff out there, there's a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. You know, there's a lot of anger in the world right now, but dabbling in something like this is probably not the right thing. It might be better to dabble in the, I don't know what they call the white arts.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Feel free to contact Heidi and I if you have a question, put it in the comments, email us, go to our website, Aventurine Psychics, um, you know, message us. We'll gladly answer questions. Try
we
to
have
help
ways for
you.
you to get in touch with us that it's pretty easy. Go to our website. There's a way to email us from there. There's a way to message us from there. Go info@aventurinepsychics.com is our email, and just ask us. We'll be more than happy to connect with you. Before we do head out, I just want to say something that after you do any kind of magic for yourself, or after a hard day's work, and sometimes you're just exhausted, if you want to give yourself a treat, we do have something that I'm really proud of, and I love this. It's called the Lavender Oatmeal Bathtub Tea, and that's our pillow box that we have. It's absolutely delicious. It's made with lavender, oatmeal, Epsom salts.
It's delicious as you're taking a bath. We don't consume it.
Right. You put it in your bathtub, just let
Soaking.
it float. You soak.
Or if you're a shower person,
Yep. If you're a shower person, rub this on your body. The Epsom salts will help soothe some sore muscles. If you just want to use this on a foot soak, oh my God, it softens up your skin. It's really, really delightful, and it smells not overpowering, but it's there to soothe and calm you. So honestly, if you're thinking of anything that's negative or bad, if you just want to smell something that's just going to put you in a good place, or even just have a bath and some bathtub tea, go to our website. We do have this. This is made with love and good intentions, as all of your spells and charms should be.
yep, and if you just want something to make you feel more confident, more whatever, contact Heidi. She knows the crystal world, and she also deals with essential oils, and she's given me a couple cents to help me. But I hope you all have a blessed and safe week, and we'll probably see you next weekend. One thing I wanted to say that I know Heidi kept blacking out, but that was someone messing with her. That wasn't anything. And if you notice her, she's not touching her phone, but her phone was shaking. I don't know if it picked up on the video, but you'll see it. That's someone that did not want this news put up. And I have it on Good Authority right here next to me. Spirits never leave me alone. The little girl talking about the food, the whole time Heidi was talking was making me draw. That's one of the things I do. I draw images when I do a reading. She had me draw all kind of food, and then she had me draw multiple potatoes. So I think that maybe some instant potatoes in your house might be a good deal. I think that's what she's trying to get across. I'm going to get some.
I actually am going to get some as well. And I was actually thinking about the stovetop stuffing potatoes as well. So anything that you're able to put in your pantry that has staying power, maybe that's something you'd want to start doing now, just as a reminder that if prices go up, at least you have something in store for yourself as well as your family.
You don't have it doesn't have to be expensive. You can go to Aldi's, you can go to the dollar store, buy a can of soup every week. Eventually, one can after the other will add up.
Correct.
And then just like I do it, it's very, a lot of people do huge inventories. They do all this beautiful work, but I'm not that dedicated. I just keep the little whiteboard, and if I take something out of my pantry, I write it on the whiteboard so when I go shopping again. And believe me, I have very small shopping now because I'm stocked up.
And exactly, it's like we work with the KISS program, keep it simple, stupid. That's how I remember to do things, and that's how you're not overwhelmed. So when you're writing it down, it's in front of you. It's like, oh, okay. You're not thinking, oh my God, I didn't do a list. Now I got to go through my whole pantry, my whole freezer with everything. Now you've got a long list. Now you're overwhelmed. You know what I mean?
I got to Heidi, the amazing news. Heidi knows my husband. I've got him to write stuff on the board now. Instead of thinking he's just going to remember it.
That's a big deal.
My husband is 61 and he thinks he can remember everything. And I finally got him to start writing on the whiteboard. Because we'll get to the store, we'll come home and say, you didn't get such and such. He loves his ice cream. We didn't get cherries. So you know what I did? I went on 4 jars of cherries because he loves his sundaes. He's as skinny as a rail. He eats ice cream every night. Sundays every night.
Oh, well, God bless him. I couldn't
I
do
look at
that.
it to me, I gained 10 pounds.
Yeah. Right there with you, girl. High five.
He does the sauce, the fudge sauce, the caramel sauce, the whipped cream, cherries, the whole shooting shebang. And I have a little popsicle, like this is supposed to be my big treat.
Exactly. So I hope we didn't, we felt the need to get it out there because we talk about everything that's positive, how you can do things. We wanted to get something out there that was kind of negative, but people need to be aware of it so that if they're going to decide to do things, how to do it correctly, how to even figure out what's the correct thing to say and what's not. You need to really understand what it is that you're asking for and how you're asking for it. And always, always remember, do no harm. That's the
Right.
baseline for every kind of charm and spell that you do. So keep it simple, keep it good,
Keep it
because
positive.
positive.
Don't be afraid to email us or reach out to Heidi or me, or please don't be afraid, and please don't dabble if you don't know.
Mhm.
It's, I feel that things are going to get better. It's going to get worse before it gets better, but I think it's going to be okay.
Right.
Give
And
it a
even if you
year.
know how to dabble, don't.
I know it's going to be a year and a half, but that's not a lifetime.
Right. And we're Yankee ingenuity here. We can figure it out and work with it and ebb and flow.
We're right there with you. We're Heidi
Right.
Ryan, no different.
Right. We've got to put the food on the table, keep the roof over our heads, and we're doing our best. We want to help you do your best also. So don't hesitate to get in touch with us.
We're limited income, and we're not boo-hooing witchcraft at all. We're just saying you need to use it right. That's all.
Okay.
So,
All right, everyone, have a great rest of the weekend.
Yep, and we will see you next weekend.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oops.